Well, I just popped out to have a breather while I'm doing a lot of paperwork today. We had a really rainy morning and it's been really dirty, and we kind of have slipped back into this exact pattern of weather we had all last winter, and it's only really early to mid-autumn here. But we get these days where it's like drizzly and rainy and we're straight back into it. And so this morning we actually had some rain, which is good because the ground is so dry here after a long summer. The rain we have had hasn't really penetrated in yet. But the ivy is in full flower. The bees are going absolutely mad. And what we've got is a really kind of odd scenario of weather where it's not warm, it's not the best weather, but the rain has penetrated enough to go to the roots of the ivy, and the nectar is just pouring in. And I imagine it's the same across most of the UK and Northern Europe, is as soon as you get that wind dropping, even if you do get cooler temperatures, the bees will still fly to bring in that pollen. Go on, you. They'll still fly to bring in that pollen, and they'll make use of every kind of minute or second they've got to forage. We have had a lot of wind the last week and it's really worried me, but there's not a lot else we can do. We're now, what are we going to be into the end of the second week of October, and it's now is the crucial time when we really need some decent weather. We've only got temperatures of 19 or 18 for this week, but maximums of 15, 16 aren't too bad if they get calm weather. And this is the first calm weather we've had, and yet I've come down of an evening and they're all still flying like crazy. It's absolutely fantastic. So it's great news. It's nice to see. I just wanted to share this with you, that sometimes bees are just so dynamic. It completely catches you unawares and you never expect them to be doing what they're doing. And yet here they are. It's cool. It's nearly the end of the day and they're just packing in that pollen. You can see they're trying to dry the front of they're circulating the air in their colony and trying to dry what they can. It's just amazing. These are all the little mini mating nukes that I made in the summer, and these all gave me majority gave me a nucleus from. So in midsummer I harvested the nucleus colony from underneath, and then in its place put back in the box that was on top. There was one box on top, and since then I've given them a queen. They've accepted that queen. The queen has grown in the dearth. I had to feed them as much as I could to get them to grow, and then the boxes they had a second tier put on and extra frames, so they've got something for the winter, and most of them are nearly full. I only fed them all last week again because they were just sopping it up. They were absolutely taking it down. Look at these bees trying to circulate air. They're fanning on the front there. This is what it's all about. It's a battle this time of year to get as much in as I can, but to get it cured. And I can tell you now, I'm smelling this really strong smell of ivy. It's pretty rancid as far as I'm concerned, but they are doing well. I mean, every colony you look at has got bees flying to it and pollen coming in. It's absolutely brilliant. These were some late nukes I made. They've all done exceptionally well. I'm really pleased. And I basically have one facing one way, one facing the other. And the bees are coming and going so quickly that they're getting stuck on the grass in front. And this is really what I don't like. I don't like to see bees struggling in the grass there. But, you know, what should be, I should have a card underneath or some extra thing to help them get back up. But, you know, with all the best intentions, you can't get everything done all the time. But that's one of those things. But at least they're foraging really well. And every single one is queen right. What I've done has been ruthless and shaken out anything that is non-queen right, because it ain't going to get queen right now. And even if it did, it would never recover in time. So what I've done is been realistic, which is what you have to do. You merge colonies now to make them stronger for next year. And that's the key to it, is just shake it out, move on, and make use of what you've got. You use what you have and then move on. Some of these are the nukes I fed again last week. And as you can see, they're still pouring down that nectar, which is fine because it's warm. The syrup is warm, really nice and warm. So they'll keep on taking that down, and I know that when that's gone, it'll be finished and it'll all be in the colony and all being dried. But because it's so thick this time of year, the syrup, I give it to them. We give them a fructose syrup, which is 90% fructose and 10% water. So it really is absolutely as thick as I can have it. So it's easier for them to cure. It's a win-win situation with that stuff. But the thing is, they're still taking it down, but it's still a little bit warm. We've got a couple of weeks, and that's it. Then you're really thinking about candy. And as I said before, if you find a colony that's light, I would prefer to give it candy this time of year straight away. And then at least that's taking down 2 kinds of sugars so they can use them over the winter. And rather than just wait until the honey they have is stored, is used up, then give them candy, it's better to give them 2 things as soon as you can. To me, candies are non-option. It's far better to get bees strong and ready to go in the winter before you get anywhere near the candy. It's just logical. It's a no-brainer. These nukes are looking absolutely great. This is the kind of thing I can watch all day, you know. Such a time waster, unfortunately. But it's lovely to see, absolutely fantastic. One other thing I wanted to mention while I just end here is just to say I'm going to be doing a video on the Mini Plus. I wanted to cover that because I feel it's really important to share what I've learnt regarding why we use these Mini Plus in the first place, because they're just such an amazing tool in beekeeping. They're not a nuke and they're not a hive, they're in between, but the reason why we use them is because they're so diverse in what we can use them for. So we can use them for nukes and we can use them for hives. But I'll explain all that and a video about all that probably in November, December time, because I've got an awful lot of material, an awful lot of things to put into the video that I think people will find really interesting. So I'm going to spend a lot of time working on that. The other thing I'm going to be doing in the next couple of days before I go away is cleaning up. It's just amazing how much stuff you leave lying around. It's a constant battle to keep things tidy. I've got piles of frames there, I've got feeders, I've got stuff I use, I've just stacked. I know it's stacked, but it's just not where I want it. I want it put away for the winter. There's a lot of stuff to clean, a lot of stuff to go through, stock take, order. It's amazing how when you grow, how much equipment you need and how much you get through. And you only reflect on it when you spend 10 minutes out here in the garden walking around going, my goodness me, have I got some work to do. So on that note, I'll leave it, and I wish you all a good few weeks. As I say, I'm off on holiday this week, and I'll be back in early November, where hopefully I'm going to be doing a bit of beekeeping then, if there's anything left to do. But anyway, until then, bye for now, and enjoy your bees.